Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at the new index for the new Deathwatch for use of 10th edition. Obviously Agents of the Imperium Codex come out and Deathwatch were kind of sort of like just a unit in it, but this is a full Deathwatch army back in 10th edition. So let's have a little look at what we can do. Okay, so like I said, this is a brand new index for Deathwatch armies for the Deathwatch in 10th edition. That means that you're probably not going to get a codex anytime soon. So these guys are now literally just relegated to index status. It's a bit of a shame because they are kind of a cool looking army. But we have a couple of rules here. So we've got kill teams. So basically what this rule is that each time a target attacks a kill team unit with your army that contains models with different toughness values. So in this army you can have units that are mixed of power armor, Terminator armor and bikes. So obviously they've all got different toughnesses. You always use the highest toughness, and if two toughnesses are equal, then you pick one. And then for transports, or for all purposes of determining who can embark on a transport, they follow all of the rules, restrictions regarding transports. Okay, so if you want to put a Terminator in a vehicle, if it can go into that vehicle, then that Terminator is going to be able to fit into it. Otherwise, that kill team is not going to be able to use that transport. Okay, so you've got your detachment rules, the Black Spear Task Force. So there is some restrictions on this straight away. Your army can include Adeptus Astartes Deathwatch units, but it cannot include any Adeptus Astartes units drawn from any other chapter. So that means you can't bring Sanguinary Guard, or you can't bring Deathwing Knights, stuff like that into your Deathwatch army. They have to come from all of the Deathwatch units. With the exception of Kill Team Cassius, see Legends, Agents of the Imperium, your army cannot include any Agents of the Imperium Deathwatch units. So you can't take this detachment and then use your Deathwatch units from the Agents of the Imperium Codex. Okay, so also your army cannot include any of the following units. Basically this is all of the firstborn units: assault marines with jump packs, attack bikes, devastator squads, land speeder storms, relic terminators, scout squads, scout sniper squads, tactical squads, terminator assault squads, and terminator squads as well. So basically all of the old firstborn stuff you can't use. It does say Terminator squads, so that obviously means that the new Terminators cannot be used either, but you'll be able to sort of make units with the kill teams later on. So your primary rule for this detachment is mission tactics. So at the start of your command phase you can select one of the following missions listed below. Until the start of your next command phase, that mission tactic is active and it effectively applies all units in your army with this ability. Basically it's like the Gladius Strike Force with your doctrines. So you've essentially got Furo, Malleus and Purgatus. So basically Furio gives you sustained 1 for hits, Malleus gives you lethal hits, and Precision gives you Purgatus gives you precision. Now each mission tactic can only be used once per battle, so you've got basically 3 mission tactics and that is it. Now hopefully in the stratagems we'll be able to play around with that a little bit more, but you've only got 3, which means some turns you're not going to be using any. So we got the stratagems, and we do have 6 as per normal. You've got Armor of Contempt. Everyone knows what that is. 1 CP, you get, worsen the armor penetration by 1. It's a mainstay stratagem for every Space Marine army. Hellfire rounds, classic Deathwatch stratagem. So for your shooting phase, 1 kill team unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons including devastating wound weapons equipped by models in your army have the anti-infantry +2 and anti-monster +5 ability. That is mental when you actually think about that. That you would get the devastating, but it does say that excluding devastating wounds. So you know, you're not going to be running around absolutely ripping units apart with mortal wounds, which is good that they have actually clarified that. Restrictions: you cannot select any unit that has already been targeted either with Kraken rounds or Dragonfire round stratagems. So we'll have a look at them in a short time. You've got adaptive tactics, which again is another classic Space Marine stratagem. Using your command phase, up to 2 kill team units from your army, one or one other adaptive Astartes unit from your army. For each unit targeted, select a Furio, Malleus and Purgilus tactic until the start of your next command phase. That mission tactic is active for that unit instead of any mission tactic that is already active. It's kind of a bit like the adaptive tactics for the Gladiator Strike Force, where you're able to pick a unit and put them into that doctrine, essentially. So, Kraken rounds. 1 CP, your army shooting phase, 1 kill team unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic for ranged weapons equipped by the models in your unit by 1, and improve the range characteristics of those weapons by 6 inches. That is really, really good. So basically your normal bolters are going to be pumping out at least 30 inches, and you're going to be getting at least AP2 on those, so that's pretty decent. You cannot select any of the units that have already been targeted either by Dragonfire rounds or Hellfire rounds. So that's kind of cool. So you've got a couple of different ammunition types, which is quite nice. Very, very narrative, very Deathwatch, very kill teamy, which is pretty cool. Next, you've got the Dragonfire rounds. So 1 CP, which is always nice. I think all of these are 1 CP, to be fair. Yeah, they are. All these stratagems are 1 CP, which is kind of cool. So you've got your shooting phase. Select 1 kill team from your army that has not been selected to shoot yet. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the assault and ignores cover ability. Obviously, for certain units like intercessor type based units, you're going to have assault on your weapons anyway. But this is kind of nice for more of your heavier weapons, getting them to have assault, being able to run and fire, and also getting ignore covers as well. Obviously, your restrictions: you cannot obviously use this stratagem on a unit that's already used Kraken and Hellfire rounds that phase. And then finally, site-to-site teleportation. This sounds awesome. 1 CP until end of your opponent's fight phase. Up to 2 kill team units from your army or 1 or other Adaptus Astartes infantry unit from your army. If those units are not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, remove these units from the battlefield and place them in strategic reserve until the end of your next movement phase. Models in those units that do not have the deep strike ability have the deep strike ability. So basically, at the end of your opponent's fight phase, you're going to be able to pick up to 2 kill teams or 1 of your normal marine units, lift them up and then redeploy them in deep strike at the end of your movement phase on the next turn. That is so good, and that's a really nice little redeploy. It's going to be really good for hitting, like, you know, secondaries where it says that you need to get table quarters, or you need to take an objective in the deep sort of your enemy's deployment and stuff like that. So it gives your army quite a bit of versatility. I'm always a big fan of things like this, and that's not all. So we're going to go into the enhancements. So we do have 4 enhancements. So we got Thief of Secrets, so adapt the Astartes model only, improve the strength and damage and armor penetration characteristics of the melee's weapon, bearer's melee weapons by 1 at the end of the fight phase. If 1 or more enemy models were destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer this phase, until the end of the battle, improve the strength, damage and armor penetration characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons by 2 instead. That is so nice. So basically, you're going to get to improve it by 1, and then as soon as he destroys a unit or kills 1 or more enemy models in combat with those weapons, he basically gets +2 to strength, damage and armor penetration. It's pretty cool. We'll check out the points at the end to see how much that is. So the Beacon Angelus, Adaptus Astartes, models in the bearer's unit have the deep strike ability. In addition, you can target the bearer with the rapid ingress stratagem for a 0 CP. Solid, solid, solid. The Osseous key, which is classic from the Gold Codex. Master of the Watch and Tech Marine models only. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one enemy vehicle unit, excluding Titanic units, so it can't target monoliths, within 12 inches and visible to the bearer. That unit must take a leadership test. If the test is passed, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. If the test is failed, that unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. So, okay. Pretty cool. And then the Tomb of Ecatolapius. Watch Master and a Captain model only once per battle. After you have selected your Oath of Moment target, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select a secondary Oath of Moment. Designer note: this means that each time a model with an Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets either of your Oath of Moment targets, you can re-roll hit rolls. That is so good, because whereas Guilliman's ability of being able to do 2 units, you have to have a primary and a secondary, and the secondary only gets affected by the Oath of Moment if the primary target is dead. This basically gets you 2, and you get the ability to re-roll hits against both of those units. That is really, really, really good, actually. That's really, really nice. So obviously we've got some, our classic units are back. Which is good to see. So we've got the Watchmaster. He's got his Vigil Spear. He can fire that in combat, and he can use it as a ranged weapon. He's a leader, mission tactics, Oath of Moment. Strategic knowledge. While this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced or fell back. It's pretty cool. Once per battle, you can use your CP thing. Now, have they actually done this correct? From your army, with this ability, you can use this when it is targeted with a stratagem. If it does, reduce the CP cost of that by 1. Okay, so they basically put the new FAQ that you bring it down by 1 rather than just get it for free. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, no, he can basically join Deathwatch veterans and Fortis Kill Teams, which is cool. Next, we've got the classic Watch Captain Artemis. I'm so sad that this guy hasn't crossed the Rubicon and become a Primaris Marine yet. It would be pretty cool to see the Deathwatch get some Primaris love in the future and actually have a dedicated Primaris kill team, and Artemis being a Primaris Marine himself. So he has obviously his ranged weapons, which is the Hellfire Extremis, Anti-Infantry 4, Devastating Wounds, Ignores Cover and Torrent. Pretty sweet. And then he's got his Mastercrafted Power Sword. He has Feel No Pain 6+. He's a leader. He's got Mission Tactics and Oath of Moment. And his Tactical Instincts. While this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by this model have the Lethal Hits ability. Really cool. And an Unstoppable Champion. Each time this model is destroyed, roll a d6. And at the end of the phase, on a 2+, set the model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range. Now, that says the first time this model is destroyed, right, you get him back on a 2+. And he comes back with 1 wound. That's pretty cool. Like a 2+, even Guilliman comes back on a 3+. So that's pretty solid. I think that's a little bit of love there for the Deathwatch, considering of what they've all been through lately. So obviously he can join Deathwatch Kill Teams and Fortis Kill Teams. So you've got the veterans, your classic firstborn Deathwatch Kill Team kit, which would be one day hopefully get phased out and replaced with a Primaris one. It is still a pretty nice kit though in the Mark 8 armor. So you got all the weapons that you probably expect from the kit: bolt guns, combi weapons, frag cannons, Deathwatch shotguns, Infernus heavy bolters, and strike pattern bolt guns. And then you obviously got all of your close combat weapons that you expect. The Xenophase blade, the Necron blade that the Sergeant can have. 4 attacks, hits on 3s, strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. Pretty cool. Thunderhammer there is pretty nasty. This Thunderhammer, by the way, is pretty sweet. It's 3 attacks, it hits on a 4, okay? It's strength 10, right? Pretty cool. It's -2 AP and 3 damage. That profile right there is what a Thunderhammer should be across the board. Why normal Space Marine Thunderhammers are -2 AP, 2 damage is beyond me. But that is sweet. That is a really nice Deathwatch hammer. I like that. So they have the ability Death to the Alien. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit rolls of 1. If the target of that attack it does not have the Imperium or Chaos keyword, you can re-roll the hit rolls instead. So re-roll hit rolls of 1, and you can re-roll the hits instead if it's Xenos basically. Astartes and the shield gives you a 4-up invulnerable save, which is pretty sweet. So obviously how you make up the squad, you can have 1 sergeant, 4 to 9 Deathwatch veterans, and then every guy is equipped with that, and then you have all of your weapon options there for all of your different guys. And there's a lot of options there, so you'll be able to tool up your unit to exactly how you want them. If a character from your army with the leader ability is attached, can be attached to a Sternguard veteran squad, it can also be attached to this squad. So that's pretty cool. Now, obviously, you can't take Terminators, but we can take Deathwatch Terminator squads. So if you want to have the new Terminators and obviously the new Terminators in here, then you just use this data slate for them. As you expect, toughness 5, 2-up save, 4-up invulnerable. You've got the assault cannon, the cyclone missile launcher, the heavy flamer, the plasma cannon, and the storm bolter. Now, obviously, a couple of savvy people will notice there that the plasma cannon and the heavy flamer are not in the new kit. It's the cyclone missile launcher and the assault cannon. So obviously, if you have other kits, and I'm pretty sure that the Dark Angel upgrade kit has a plasma cannon for the new Terminators in there, and there's bound to be a heavy flamer kicking about somewhere as well. And again, you get the crappier Thunderhammer with these guys. Strength 8, -2, 2 damage, fine. So again, they have the Deep Strike as a core ability. They've got Mission Tactics, Awful Moment. They've got the Terminator Assault, so you can reroll charge rules made for this unit each time this unit ends a charge move. Each enemy unit with engagement range of this unit must take a battle shock test. If the enemy unit does not have the Imperium or Imperium or Chaos keyword, subtract 1 from the test. So the Xenos are going to get a little bit hit on the back of that. And you've got Teleport Homer, so at the start of the battle, you can select one of the Teleport Homer tokens for this unit anywhere on the battlefield, and you basically get to do what normal Terminators do, which is pretty cool. And your Storm Shields basically make the bearer 4 wounds, which is kind of nice. So it's pretty cool. It's quite nice to see that they're going to get their own sort of data slate, which is kind of cool as well. And then obviously you got your weapon options there. You can have 1 sergeant, 4 to 9 Terminators, and if a character from your army with this leader ability can be attached to a Terminator squad, it can be attached to this squad instead, which is kind of cool. So your Terminator captains are really going to be kind of good for that, and your chaplains and librarians are all in Terminator armor are going to be able to join this. Terminators are sweet. They're an iconic unit for Space Marines, so full Terminator armor would be really, really cool. The Corvus Blackstar is back. We love it in the beginning of Space Marine 2. Probably one of the coolest sequences in the entire game. Actually seeing it in that cinematic, really awesome. Movement 20, toughness 10, 3-up save, 14 wounds, leadership 6, no OC. Has a bucket load of ranged weapons, Blackstar rocket launchers, D6 +1 attacks, 30-inch range, strength 5, Hurricane bolters, rapid fire 6, twin linked, Storm Strike missile launchers, twin link assault cannons with devastating wound and twin linked, and then twin las cannons with twin linked, and then it also has your armored hull for the melee weapon. So it's got deadly demise D6, it can hover and it can stealth, which is solid. You've got mission tactics, Awful Moment, and then you've got the Blackstar cluster launcher. Each time this model ends a normal move, you can select 1 enemy unit it moved over during the move and roll 6d6 for each 5+. That unit suffers 1 more wound. So it kind of does a little bombing runs, which is sweet. And then you've got the Warhammer ability, the War Gear ability. So you've got the Auspex array. Range weapons equipped by the bearer have the Ignore cover ability. And then you've got the Infernum Halo launcher. The bearer has the smoke keyword. and then it's got its bracketed 1 to 5 wounds. Now, you do have a couple of options. So obviously the assault cannons can be replaced with the las cannons. The Blackstar rocket launchers can be replaced with the Stormstrike missiles. You can be equipped with 1 Hurricane bolter, and then you can have one of the following. You can either have the Auspex or the Infernum Halo launcher, which is still kind of cool. Obviously you can transport 12 Adeptus Astartes infantry or kill team models, and each jump pack, Gravis or Terminator models take up 2 spaces, and each Centurion models take up 3 spaces. Doesn't say anything about bikes, okay? So you're not going to be sticking the bike in this. Now, I think the only Deathwatch unit with the bike is the Cassius one, and that is from the Legends, I believe. Now we got the Talonstrike Kill Team. Now, the Talonstrike Kill Team is made up of, I believe, the jump pack intercessors. So your assault intercessors with jump packs. So it includes 1 sergeant and then 2 to 9 intercessors with jump packs, and then 0 to 5 kill team heavy intercessors with jump packs. So it's all of your jump element from your Primaris range. So you've got your Inceptors and your jump infantry basically, and then you can basically create a kill team around that, and you have all your weapon options for that. So they have the doctrine, Talonstrike doctrine. So each time this unit is set up on the battlefield until the end of the turn, improve the armor penetration characteristics of weapons equipped by models in this unit by 1. Melee weapons in this unit have the lance ability. Now obviously you've got the plasma weaponry, so you've got the Inceptors with the 2 plasmas. They're going to basically, in the turn that they arrive on the battlefield, they're going to be essentially -4 AP or -3 AP. That is really, really cool. And obviously your other guys are going to be popping around with lance abilities on the close combat weapons. Having a power fist with lance is pretty scary, but yeah, pretty cool. So obviously you've got all your options there. You can have how the sergeant is equipped, and then for every 5 models in the unit you can replace 1 heavy bolt pistol with a plasma pistol, and then any number of models can have the assault bolters replaced with the plasma extremist. That's for the interceptors, the Inceptors. So essentially this is a pretty big unit. You can have a 15 strong unit here with 10 close combat guys and 5 plasma extremist guys. That's a pretty scary unit, and we'll check out the points at the end, but that's going to be pretty big. But yeah, there's a lot going on in here. That's a big data slate. Then you got the Fortis Kill Team, which is basically your intercessors, your normal tactical intercessor type guys. So they've got the Fortis Doctrine. So each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is below starting strength, add 1 to the hit rolls. If the target unit is below half strength, add 1 to the hit rolls and 1 to the wound rolls. Cool. So if you're below half strength, so you sort of take a wound off, kill a model, you get +1 to hit. And if it's below half strength, so like half of its wounds, starting wounds, you get +1 to hit and +1 to wound, which is pretty cool. So you get all of your general sort of stuff that you would expect. You got the Deathwatch bolt rifles, which is interesting. They are assault heavy lethal. 2 attacks, hits on 3s, strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. And they also, you've got the Castellan launchers and stuff like that. So this unit is, again, the kill teams are made up of a lot of models, so you can have a maximum of 10 models. Is that what it says on this one as well? No, the Talon one is a maximum of 10, so you're not going to have a 15 strong unit, which is a shame. That would be funny. But you're going to get a maximum of 10, so you can basically have a sergeant and then 2 to 5 intercessors. Then you can have plasma intercessors, so your Hellblasters. You can have intercessors with heavy bolt pistols. You can have your pyroblasters, and then you can have your intercessors with the super frag launchers. Not too sure where you get them from, but okay. So yeah, you've got a lot of options there to sort of build that unit, which is pretty interesting. I'm interested to see where you get the super frag launchers from though for the intercessor kit, unless they're using the Astartes grenade launcher to represent that. I'm not too sure. But your pyroblasters comes from the Infernus kit, and your plasma intercessors are basically your hellblasters. The Indomitor Kill Team is essentially your Gravis units, and each time this unit makes a ranged attack that target the closest eligible target, or makes a melee attack in a turn in which it charged, improve the strength characteristic of that attack by 2. So basically your close combat weapons on your big power fists are going to be strength 10, which is pretty sweet. And this unit is going to be made up of heavy intercessors with power fists, and heavy intercessors with melter rifles. So basically aggressors and eliminators, okay, which is pretty much what that is. And again, you can have a maximum of 10 models, which is pretty cool, because like normal Space Marines can only really get 6 aggressors in a unit, and this unit is essentially going to be able to roll in with a lot more. So you can have 3 to 10 heavy intercessors, and then you can have 3 heavy intercessors with power fists, so 3 aggressors, and then you can have 3 eliminators in there as well to a maximum of 10. It's pretty cool. You're going to be buying multiple kits of this, so a lot of kits. So a box of eliminators and a box of aggressors is pretty much, and then a box of heavy intercessors is going to give you a full 10-man unit with a few models left over. All right. And then finally, you've got your Spectres units, which again is the Reaver element of your Primaris army. And then you're going to have all of that the sort of Reaver element. So at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is 6 inches away from an enemy unit, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve, kind of acting like scouts. So you've got a couple of war gear options. You've got the Helix Gauntlet. This model has a 6-up feel no pain. You've got the Comms Array, which each time you target the bearer's unit with a stratagem, roll a d6 on a 5+, you gain a CP. And then you've got the Instigator Bolter Carbine in your shooting phase. After the bearer's unit has shot, the bearer can make a normal move. If it does, until the end of the turn, the bearer is not eligible to charge. Okay, which is pretty sweet. So basically, this is, again, maximum of 10 models, 3 to 10 infiltrators, 3 bolt rifles, sniper rifles. So again, this is your Reavers, your infiltrators, your the other version, the Incursors, and your Reavers essentially. So all of your sort of full boss armored units are basically what this unit is made up of. So you got your combat knives, you got your Deathwatch Oculus bolt carbines. That's off one of the Incursor or Infiltrator units. You can have each kill team infiltrator is equipped with, and each infiltrator with a sniper rifle is equipped with. Yeah, so there's a lot of options there. Again, kind of cool. So we've got the armory, which is basically your basic guns. Yep, and then you've got the points. So your Corvus Blackstar comes in at 180 points. Your Deathwatch Terminator squad for 5 models is 180 points. For 10, it's 360. Your veterans are 5 models for 100 points. 10 models is 200. Your Fortis Kill Team is 10 models is 200 points. So you're not even going to get an option of having a smaller kill team. You've got to bring in those 10 models. But for 200 points, that's not bad. Your Talonstrike Kill Team is 290 points for 10 models, which is pretty cool. Your Indomitor Kill Team is 270 points for 10 models. Pretty pricey, but it is a lot of Gravis armor. And your Spectres is 200 points for 10 models. And then Watch Captain Artemis is 65 points. And then the Watchmaster himself is 105 points. So your enhancements, the Beacon is 25, the Oculus Key is 15, and the Tomb of that thing is 30, and your Thief of Secrets is 25. So basically a Watchmaster with the Thief of Secrets is probably going to come in at 130 points, but let's be fair, you're probably going to put that on a Primaris Terminator captain or a Primaris captain, and have that as a Thief of Secrets, which is kind of nice. But yeah, that is the Deathwatch index, which is pretty awesome. And we also have rules for Captain Titus. I said Captain Titus, Lieutenant Titus. So Lieutenant Titus, we've finally got rules for him because he is available now. You can pick him up in your local Games Workshop store. So basically he is Lieutenant Titus. He's got movement 6, toughness 4, save of 3, 5 wounds, pretty solid, and OC of 1. He has a heavy bolt pistol and a chain sword. Feel no pain 5+, leader, oath of moment. Press the attacks or weapons equipped by models in this model's unit as a sustain hits 1. And then in order of the chapter, if this unit is destroyed by a melee attack and it has not fought this phase, roll a d6 on a 2+. Do not remove it from play. This model can fight after the attacks has finished. So fights on death on a 2+, pretty sweet. And he can join Assault Intercessors, Blade Guard, Hellblasters, Infernus, Inceptors, and Stern Guard units. Now, how many points is he? Because it doesn't actually say. Oh, he's 70 points, which is not bad. So yeah, he's pretty cool. If I was running an Ultramarines army and he does have the Ultramarines keyword, I would definitely run him in my Ultramarines army because he's so cool. But yeah. So that's the today's index. So Deathwatch are looking pretty solid. Captain Titus is looking pretty cool as well. I do apologise for the wind. We are being battered by a storm right now. But yeah, it's pretty sweet to see. I'll be getting the rest of the sort of the Grotmus, the data slates detachments up over the course of the weekend. Tomorrow we'll have the Emperor's Children video as well, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that's the video, everybody. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Check out my members and Patreon areas if you want to support me in other ways. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.